You just tell me when. If you haven't signed in already, please sign in at the back of the room. We're live. Okay. We are live. We'll open the meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm assuming there's going to be some comments made today, which is great. I want to remind everybody, again, please sign in. There's a sign-in sheet at the back of the room. That's important, so we have that on the record. I will remind everyone of the public comment procedure. For the items that are specifically on the agenda for that discussion, if we will ask for public comment on each agenda item. And even if we don't do a motion, I'll make sure to ask for public comment. If we do a motion, usually we don't ask for public comment until after the motion. The motion opens up public comment. So don't worry, we're not going to vote. We're going to ask for public comment after the motion is made. If you want to just talk, and I'm assuming there's a lot of people here for Whitehorse Road today, if you want to just speak on Whitehorse Road with something that doesn't have to do with one of these two agenda items, please make public comment at the beginning. You're more than welcome to do that, okay? Because there are quite a few people here, we will keep public comment to 5 minutes a person. And that's just to respect everyone's time. We've got a few items after this one as well. I do want to let everyone know we're going to switch the items that are at 10:05 and 10:10. We are going to talk about the Whitehorse Road status prior to the letter of support. Okay, so we're just going to flip-flop those two items. I think the conversation will flow a little better that way. All right. Oh, yes. Please, if you come up to the podium, and please don't try and talk from the chairs. Come up to the podium and speak. Make sure you state and spell your name, okay? And that is also for the record and for the minutes.
Madam Chair, may I
Yes,
add one more thing
please.
to the list of
Please.
rules?
Rules.
And speak to us, don't speak to each other.
Yeah.
If you can avoid that, please.
I know it seems really, really formal, but
I know.
it just makes it easier. Just talk to us, and then we can address whoever you're asking a question to. It'll just let it flow a little better. All right. Good morning. Thank you so much for taking time to be here. I appreciate it. I know we all appreciate it very much. We will start with any public comment on any subject not on the agenda that the Commission has jurisdiction over. Is there any public comment for that? Any public comment? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, my name is Representative Jane Gillette, Gillettt, and I represent in our House of Representatives for Montana, all of Broadwater County, and then also Willow Creek, Clarkston, and Manhattan. And I just wanted to give you a slight update on various different things that I've been in communication with many of you about, but just so we can kind of keep on the same page, and also the public can keep on the same page. With the Montana Department of Transportation, there's 3 different projects that are going on there right now, kind of north of the silos. Montana Department of Transportation did come in. They moved the sign. A person who lived in that area had a concern that during some work, Department of Transportation had inappropriately moved some signs and some boundaries. MDOT did come in and re-put those back, and that actually happened multiple weeks ago, so just wanted to update you. They are progressing on that, as you know, from working in, and thank you for your work, by the way, it's not easy. As you know, from working in government, things are sometimes not as neat and tidy as you wish they would be, and Department of Transportation has the same issues, but they're working very hard, and I do have confidence in them that they are doing their best effort to make sure that the people in that area are, number one, safe, and number two, that they're listened to and their concerns are heard. The second one, I just wanted to let you know, everyone's kind of getting their property tax bills and so on and so forth, so I'm getting a few calls, and that's normal. That's just, part of the job, and that's okay. And I'll continue to have conversations with you as we kind of get little hiccups and so forth. I will say during this legislative session, there's 150 legislators. Of the 150, there were 31 legislators who moved legislation to reduce property taxes. Of those 31 legislators, I am one of 3 who moved four or more bills to reduce property taxes. One of them that I was successful in getting signed into law reduces property taxes on some types of agricultural land in Montana. For this upcoming session, I have multiple different bills that I'm considering right now. And one of them that I would really ask for help with from the commissioners and also our sheriff is a structure that I have in my mind to reduce property taxes by capturing different sources of money to reduce mills related to public safety. And so I would welcome your input and your partnership on that and helping me through the details of that. Public safety in any county happens to be, one of the top ticket items in any county. And any help that you can give or advice or guidance you can give to me, I would very much appreciate it. Public safety is so important to this county, as I know you all are aware of. Lastly, I would just say that with respect to, I serve on what's called Section B, which is I'm the chair of appropriations for our Department of Public Health and Human Services. So mental health, behavioral health is very close to my heart, and certainly, part of what I do as a legislator. This past year, I was successful in passing. Annually, we will spend now another $40 million across the state in building up and sustaining our behavioral health, mental health structure across the state. And so I'm hoping to bring those services to Broadwater County. It's a complicated system because often we share services with other counties, like tri-county areas, so it can be kind of challenging. We have, as Chairman Rickmeyer knows, we have, as I've said to her, we have an issue where we're a small county with big county issues. So that, to that extent, I'll always continue to advocate for our county and securing and maintaining resources here, and again would ask for your partnership and support in that, in helping to expand and maintain services for mental health services in Broadwater County. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
Great. Is there any other public comment for subjects not on the agenda? Anyone? Okay, I have a letter that I'm going to read into the record. It was sent in by Craig and Angie Neal. They live at 25 Whitehorse Road. It's about Whitehorse Road, but not specifically what we're discussing today. So I think this is a good time to read it. It is a request to postpone decisions concerning Whitehorse Road and formation of a road improvement district. Dear Commissioners, we respectfully request that any decisions pertaining to Whitehorse Road be postponed until after January 31st or 30 days following the conclusion of the federal government shutdown, whichever comes later. Due to the involvement of multiple federal agencies, it's essential that all stakeholders be present and able to participate in these discussions. This includes representation from the Bureau of Land Management, Burlington Northern, the U.S. Forest Service, as well as relevant local entities and affected landowners. Furthermore, we are formally requesting that a road improvement district be formed for Whitehorse Road with the intention of designating it as a public way of travel benefiting all users, or a road maintenance agreement between all homeowners using Whitehorse Road. This designation will ensure responsible management, maintenance, and equitable access to the road for general public and all parties who depend on it for transportation, land management, and commerce. In the interest of due process, transparency, and full participation from all impacted parties, we believe it is in the best interest of the county and community to defer action until such time that federal agency representatives are available to engage in the proceedings. We appreciate your consideration of this request and look forward to collaborative and constructive process. Respectfully submitted, Craig and Angie Neal. I did actually speak with Angie and let her know that I don't think anything we're discussing today is going to directly involve working with those agencies right now. So we'll talk more about it today, but I appreciate the request and I understand their concern. Did either of you have anything to add? I think I don't think it's a pertinent concern for today's discussion, but I appreciate the comment. All right, is there any other public comment? No? Anyone? Okay. All right, we are going to go to our first agenda item, which is the discussion decision resolution supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans. Debbie, did you want to lead that one off?
I will. Since last week I encouraged you to read a resolution, I wanted to read the resolution. That just worked against me.
Yep.
For the last 3 or 4 years, the county has promoted this with counties across the country. Our maintenance crew will be putting up, if they haven't already, green light bulbs wherever they can outside. It's very, very attractive, and it's for a very good reason. So, first of all, I want to thank the maintenance crew for doing that. It's more work for them. Resolution 2025, Operation Greenlight for Veterans 2025. Whereas the residents of Broadwater County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all men and women who have selflessly served our county and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of those who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Broadwater County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all. And whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civil communities annually, and an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian lives in the near future. Whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of the service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. And whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. Whereas the National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans. Whereas Broadwater County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Now, therefore, it is resolved with the designation as a green light for veterans community, whereas Broadwater County declares November 4th through the 11th, 2025, as a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of those transitioning from active service. And be it further resolved that Broadwater County encourages its citizens in a patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who have made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying the green lights in windows of their homes, businesses, from November 4th through November 11th, 2025. And if I fail to mention, I have several green lights and buy them at Walmart or maybe the hardware stores here, I'm not sure. I put them outside, and they're simple, and it's a wonderful way to honor our veterans.
Thank you. I have a family full of veterans, so I really appreciate this. It's very important.
Comments? I want to say to the commissioners, I'm Angie Paulson, Broadwater County Clerk and Recorder. Thank you for doing this and for acknowledging our service members. As a former spouse of an active duty military member for 12 years who deployed 4 times, 3 times to Afghanistan. He was gone for a year at a time and then another time to Iraq. This is so awesome that you're doing this. And thank you to all of you service members in this room. We honor you. Our commissioners think this is so very important. It is very important to this community. My office will be hanging green lights, and we will at my house as well. So just can't thank you enough for doing this.
Thank you. Debbie, since you read, I'm going to make the motion. How about that? There you go. I move to approve the resolution supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans.
I will second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve Operation Greenlight for veterans 2025. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
We will sign this later.
Oh.
Just noticed a very small typo. After looking at it, yes.
That's all right. All right. Next up, I think it's the subject of the day. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna switch the 1010 and 1005 items. We're gonna start with discussion decision, declaration of White Horse Road status as it pertains to the November 2nd, 2018 County Attorney Memo. I think we have some discussion on this. We've had a meeting with one of the private citizens, and it was requested that the commission formally declare White Horse Road a private road. To give a little background, this is stated in former County Attorney Corey Swanson's 2018 memo. It's a pretty long memo. We do have it posted online. I'm guessing a lot of you have already seen it or read it. He did recommend that in his conclusion that the commissioners declare or recognize that it is a private road. And in addition to that, he recommended that the property owners resolve their disputes privately. I know we have some conversation to have on this, so let's open it up. Would you like to start, Commissioner Swanson? Anything? Put you in the hot seat right away. Yep.
I guess I'm more. It's a little bit confusing to me because this is not historically something Broward County has done in the past. It is never, as far as my knowledge, there has never been an instance where the county has formally declared a road private. So I'm a little bit hesitant on that. There's a few other things within the memo that I'm personally have some hangups on. To me, White Horse Road has historically been assumed public. I mean, it's never, nobody's ever been able to formally declare it or find any petition for it or anything like that. But my personal opinion is, looking back through different certificates of surveys, subdivisions, historically speaking, it has been used publicly. So again, I have a few hangups as far as the memo is concerned on that route. Not that I would be. There's a lot of gray area right now. So I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not trying to say that I support it being public necessarily, but I don't know if I support it being private either at this time.
So to clarify, and I think this is important in this conversation, we have a county moratorium on new county. There's a moratorium on new county roads. So considering White Horse as a county road is not even an option.
Right. And I think that. Yeah. I think there's enough history from it being petitioned in the past trying to be county and them not succeeding that it's pretty clear that it is not a county road. But determining whether it is a private road or a public road is kind of, to me, where the question lies.
And I think explaining the differences there is where it gets really confusing because we have private roads dedicated to the public. And we can get in the weeds a little bit. My thought, and Commissioner Randolph, I'll let you chime in here. My thought was maybe instead of a declaration, since Corey's memo is there, it was written, and it kind of acts as, I believe I'm saying this correctly, like a local AG opinion, right? And he did considerable research on this. I mean, it's something that I would feel, I'm speaking for me personally, comfortable supporting the conclusion of the memo. I don't know that we even need a declaration. He states it very clear in his conclusion. I would be willing to support that conclusion. And there are some other considerations that I'll talk about in a minute, but Commissioner Randolph, why don't you go ahead?
I agree with Commissioner Rickmeyer. I'm not comfortable declaring it and I don't even know what that means legally, a private road. I don't think we have done that with any road in the county that I'm aware of. But it certainly now has been used as a private road. There's a lot more things that we'll get into, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you, Commissioner Rickmeyer.
I guess in looking at this, and we had initially kind of, in a meeting that myself and Public Works Director T.J. Gravely, County Attorney Kevin Bratcher, and Planning Department Director Nicole Brown were in with the private citizen. It sounds like a simple thing. You just support it. Or declare it. But again, there's no really formal process for declaring the road. There's no document to do that. So my thought was we could provide a statement of support, just saying that we recognize the memo and support the memo. It seems like we're splitting hairs. I think there's some conditions on this. So one, and the reason I believe in supporting the memo, and I appreciate what you're saying, because of the uses. At times it was used or was even considered a county road in documentation. I think that was an assumption. There was nothing that formally stated ever that it was a county road. White Horse Road is a road made up of multiple easements, right? No one person owns White Horse Road. I want to be super crystal clear about that. No one person owns White Horse Road. It is the southern boundary of all those properties to the north. And unlike a lot of easements that are, this side of the road or owns 30 feet into the road, it is all the way across, right, to the south side. So it's the southern boundary of all those northern properties. It's all easements that make up White Horse Road. Again, no one person owns White Horse Road. It is multiple easement owners. Corey's memo outlines extensive legal and factual history demonstrating that the road is private, regardless of previous use and assumptions that weren't based on any accurate documentation or historical fact. And the memo, and County Attorney Bratcher can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the memo is also supported by the county attorney at this time. He's not saying anything, so I'm going to take that as he supports it. Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything that would cause me to disagree or vary from former County Attorney Swanson's opinion in the memo.
Okay, thank you. Some of the considerations I had written down, and please, you guys add in here, was something to consider. As we said, it's made up of easements. Those easements are allowed for use by any heirs, signees, and invitees, okay? So basically, I don't want to say the general public, but if I'm coming to the Vanden Acres house, if I'm coming to Ravendall's, if I'm coming to the Franks, like I can use, I'm a friend, I'm an invitee, I'm an heir, any of these. Something to add, BLM, okay, is a landowner. So their land, that easement transfers, it stays with the land, so the new owner has the easement, right? As a landowner, BLM's heirs, signees, and invitees are the public. Access cannot be blocked to that public land, right? BLM owns that land now. Access can't be blocked by any one person on that road. Again, it's all different owners and easements. You can't do that. If someone should do that, it becomes a civil issue, and you are opening yourself up for a lawsuit, which we are not getting involved with at all. And also, BLM could get very upset about that as well if you block that road. On that same consideration, if BLM is a landowner, it would be nice if they could contribute to the maintenance of the road. So I didn't want to jump into the next, I don't want to jump into the next agenda item yet because they are kind of distinct, however overlapping. So we can talk about that a little bit more with BLM and the maintenance and the letter of support next, but I want to make sure these guys can weigh in.
I would just add, I agree with everything you said. I just want to add, BLM owns that land, and we as taxpayers own that land. Not that we have a lot there or anything, but it is public land,
Yeah.
meaning all of us can go there and recreate.
Yeah. Commissioner Swenson, did you have anything?
No, I don't think. I think one thing that is important is to clarify that the road was there prior to the easements that are cited. There's maps of that road being on the quad maps from the USGS from 1950s that used aerial photography from 1947, which predates any of the recorded easements that are referenced. So, not saying that the easements aren't valid, but was the road public or private before those easements were there is, I think, a question that needs to be answered before we are declaring it private.
Okay, I guess I look at it like Corey put in a significant amount of research. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think this road has, like, what, since 1912, I believe, what we looked up. Like, there's been this, like, very complex history on this road and back and forth. And at one time, it was assumed it was a county road. But again, assuming is not checking the boxes and making sure that's what the details say. I'm wondering, and County Attorney Bratcher, you may know this, if we are supporting Corey's memo, which as of right now, I mean, I can't say it's law, but it's the statement, it's the opinion of what the road is based on the historical facts and research. If we support that, all that's saying is we support that right now. We're continuing to treat this as a private road. If someone were to disagree with that, they would have to take that to a district court level. Would that be correct?
Right. I think supporting sort of Corey's memo is, recognizing in what sort of my research and review is that the people that live off of White Horse Road is that it has been treated as a private road. And I think Corey also talks about this in his memo about how really until a district court judge says otherwise, I think that, to me, it seems that it is still a private road. I think Commissioner Swenson brings up a very good point of the road existing in the 50s and prior. And I just, due to that information being lost in time, we do know from the 1912 and the 1923 resolutions, it was never a county road. But whether it was just a private road open to the public, which I think is still its status today in 2025, again, I don't think that, like I said, unless a district court judge were to say that, no, this has been a public road, basically sort of litigating that whole issue, which is something that I think the landowners would have to do. The county couldn't just do that.
Right.
Until that point, to me, it seems that the easements that have been filed and platted, controlled, and that it is a private road that is open to the landowners, the people that live in the subdivision, and the public to access the BLM property. But I do want to sort of reiterate, Commissioner Swenson does bring up sort of a good question of, well, this road existed in the past, but if it was a public road at that time, then why did it necessitate the grantings of the easements in the 80s and subsequently?
Thank you. I think the way the easements work, like, so if you're saying you think it shouldn't be just strictly private, it should be a private road dedicated to the public. Is that what you're? kind of leaning toward, I guess.
That's kind of I mean, because I totally agree. It's not. It was never formally adopted as a county road. I think the intention was to adopt it as a county road from that 1912 petition, that it was accepted from the commission at the time, with the caveat that after the road was built and after the county road was changed to the new coming down the section line of 2 and then east to the highway, they were to have it inspected and formally adopted. As far as we can find, that step never happened. They accepted the petition, but the actual adoption of it never occurred. So I think you're hard pressed declaring it a county road without having that formal adoption somewhere in the record. I think the intent was there at the time to make it a county road. Again, like I said, it never happened. So the history from there, the intent of it at the time to be public road, subdivisions accessing it, they have to be coming off of a public road. I think historically speaking, I know the easements are there, but historically speaking, it has been viewed as a public road. So that's my biggest hang up.
Yeah,
with supporting it. Sorry.
No, it's great. I think it's all really good information to consider. It seems like such a simple thing, right? Like, what is this road? I mean, seriously, what a mess! What a complex history. This just speaks to why we document everything over and over and over at this point. The easements, the nature of the easements, and Mr. Batcher, if you might correct me, but the nature of the easements almost allow it to be a private road dedicated to the public, even though that's not the formal title, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially with BLM owning the property. I think if BLM didn't own the property, it still wouldn't change the property rights and the use of the people that live in the subdivisions and live off of White Horse Road. Basically, the people that live on the land that the easement is on, and the people in those subdivisions, because the people in the subdivisions, although they're plotted, land, their lot isn't, White Horse Road isn't on their lot, they still inherited the right to use the easement from their prior property owners when the subdivision, like the Elkhorn subdivision, when it was created. So I think the practical impact is that it is a private road open to public use, even though it was never dedicated to public use.
Okay, thank you. So is there a way we could formally in the meeting state, as opposed to, we agree 100% with Corey, right? And I mean, I don't want to take away, he did a ton of work and a ton of research. State more what you're saying. We can say, we will acknowledge that White Horse Road is a private road. You said it better.
Yeah, I think that
Sorry.
White Horse, sort of recognizing that White Horse Road is a private road, open to the use by the public, basically by the nature of BLM owning land at the end of it, in addition to all of the other property owners that live off of, basically to the north of White Horse Road, and the property owners at White Horse Road, those easements are actually on their property.
Okay. And I would like to add in there, if we're making a statement for the record, I would like to add that it will need to be privately maintained.
Right.
Right? Okay. What are your thoughts on that, commissioners? Anyone?
I guess, does that contradict kind of the memo from Corey? Because my understanding from his memo is that it's a private road.
Yeah, so no, it's still a private road, but because of like BLM owning property that has a right to use the easement to access that, it is in effect, the practical effect day to day of it is that it is open to the public, even though when these easements were granted, they were never dedicated to the public use. It's just the easements have a very broad scope, which sort of gets into like when Corey talks about BLM possibly exceeding the scope, that use. I mean, that's a possibility, but that would have to be litigated by the residents and BLM, either in federal court or in state district court.
And that is an avenue open to
Right.
the residents. If they want to go down that
Absolutely.
road.
And because since it's not a county road,
Right.
that's why the county can't just file like a declaratory action
Right.
to get a judge
Right.
to the, because the county doesn't have standing because it is a private road.
I think we're acknowledging what Corey said in his memo, but we are adding that because he doesn't get into the details of the easements themselves and what those allow for, right? So we're kind of acknowledging it's private, but because, you know, BLM is one of the private landowners that just happens to be public landowners, you have to apply what the easements allow and, you know, like you said, the practical use. So the broad scope of easement. So we're really acknowledging it's private, but there's all this. This is what the use is allowed, or what use is allowed on the road. However, it has to be privately maintained.
Right.
And by acknowledging and recognizing, I think that BLM, and we can recognize it or not, it is what it is. BLM is a private landowner on that road. It will lend support to our next discussion that they could also contribute to
Yes.
the maintenance of the road.
And I think also this whole, the more or less splitting hairs that
Yeah.
we've been doing and have been doing is
Yes.
probably part of the reason why in 2018 no further action was taken by the commissioners at that time.
Splitting hairs, that's exactly.
Splitting hairs, rabbit holes, lots of them. I guess we can, what, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Any concerns? I don't know that this, I guess we could do a motion on this, or we can just, I mean, I don't want to speak for the commission if everybody isn't in agreement, which is the only reason why I'd want to do a motion.
I guess I'm not sure what the motion would be, to declare or not declare?
I think we could do a motion to support Corey Swanson's 2018 memo stating, concluding that the road is a private road, but in addition to that, add in that BLM and other property owners off of Whitehorse Road have access to use that easement because it's practical use, and BLM also allows for, public land, public use. So the road has to be accessed by the public.
So isn't that what's happening now?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it
so-
needs to be formally,
Does it?
does it?
I
No,
I don't
that's
think
true.
so.
Why do we have to? Okay.
I-
I'll ask for public comment. We'll see what
Yeah,
everybody says.
yeah, and that
Okay.
may change.
That's a good point. Okay, come on up. Member, 5 minutes a person, please. Justice got it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Ravendall, 40
morning.
Whitehorse Road. And thank you for bringing this to your agenda and speaking about this. It's very important to all of us who live on Whitehorse Road because we've been dealing with this for over 20 years.
And longer.
Or longer, actually. Okay, I'm just going to make a couple of quick statements here on why we came to the Commission for doing what we're doing. Number one is, again, there's been a lot of confusion on the actual status of this road from the people that live there, to the public, to BLM, who is a land management agency, not an owner, but a land management agency, and they are in a position to where they are using the road, and by creating a parking lot on Whitehorse Road, they have changed the original status and the use of that road from what it was intended. We'll back up a little bit. 1912 was mentioned when the county was petitioned to move the very first short piece of White Horse Road to Section 2, Section 3. And then follow the section line, which would be the highway where it is now, would have been moved over to that section line. Okay, that didn't happen. Everybody found there was no documentation. What we're at right now is the fact that BLM changed the actual use of that particular private road that was a private road long before 1912. That road was a right-of-way created through 2 different ranches that led to the White Horse Ranch at the base of the mountain. Since then, the easements were created in order to facilitate the access to those ranches. One of them that I'm not sure if Chuck Hahn is here, but I've had a hard time getting a hold of Chuck because he's also one of the landowners that has an absolute historic use of that road getting to his private property. One of the things I want to emphasize, we did not come in here to look for a fight. We came in here to try to make sure that we bring BLM, Fish, Wildlife and Parks, United States Forest Service, who created the parking lot, who created the change in the actual use of that road from the people that live there and the people that own that property, and bring them to the table. Now, it was mentioned in a meeting that we had that are we going to be able to bring them to the table and hold their feet to the fire? There's a really good chance that we won't, because the historic answers from BLM and Forest Service of participating in doing things like this has been really nil. With the county right here asking for contributions for road, it makes it really tight. I'm going to run out of time before I get done saying what I want to say, I know, but I want to make sure that you folks understand that we wrote a letter back a long time ago. I don't know if you've seen it. I gave a copy at the meeting to the regional manager of BLM saying, hey, you've been misinformed about the status of this road. It is not a public county road. And Scott Haight, who is now the actual top dog of BLM in our region, he moved up the ladder. He is still there. We sent him a letter of request to come to the table and participate. That same letter, modified to fit the agency, went to Fish, Wildlife and Parks, United States Forest Service, BLM, we went to Montana Rail Link, and Burlington Northern. These are the commercial users of that road that should be at least asked to come to the table and participate in not only taking care of the road, but maintaining the future use of that for everyone. So we asked for your support to come forward and support the fact that Attorney John Flynn, long back then, things didn't get recorded properly, but he also agreed that this was a private road and it went to the White Horse Ranch. Then Corey did his memo. He did a lot of research by our request to make sure that we crossed the T's and dotted the I's. I asked our new county attorney, did we miss something here? And I think we're probably on the front page of saying, no, I think we pretty well covered everything that we need to cover on the legal side of what things are. That's why we asked you to just go ahead, even though it doesn't put any obligation on the county, it puts the county into support, and I'm going to emphasize support of the people that live on White Horse Road, that the county recognizes that this argument, if you will, or assumption is put to bed. And then
That's time. Can you finish it?
Pardon?
Can you finish up? It's
Yes.
time. Yeah.
And then so then the last part is we ask for a letter of support because we are now at the stage of moving forward with the initial invite of BLM and these other agencies to come to the table and discuss with the landowners. All the landowners, I've been doing my best to make sure they're on the front page with notifications of this meeting and other meetings that we've had. We want to make sure that they're brought forward. With that letter, I'm now going to ask for again today of support. Then we can go forward to BLM and say, hey, this is the way it is. This is the status of the road. We want your support, and BLM can then come in and
Okay.
negotiate with us and do the best thing we can, and we will be able to move forward in good faith on behalf of everyone.
Thank you. Tim, thank you. I know you've worked very passionate and you've worked very hard on a lot of this. So I appreciate what you're asking us. I think we all understand. As you can see, there's again, a very complex history on this road. So I don't think it's easy for anybody, as County Attorney Bratcher said, like, you'd have to go to district court for them to go back and be like, it's 100%, you make an actual decision on this. I think we have Corey's memo. It outlines things. There's nothing, right, yep, you've got Corey's memo. So he's made a statement. We just discussed about what we support. We support what his memo says, and we added a bunch of extra stuff in there, and here's the easements, and here's why that's there. So that is on the record of what we're supporting and how. We can talk more about the letter of support itself in the next agenda item. Is there any other public comment that has to do with this? Come on up to the podium, please. Make sure you state and spell your name.
Before you start, at the 1 minute mark, I'll just let you know they have 1 minute left.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
you're fine.
I didn't want to cut you off.
My
I'm
name's
sorry.
Terry D. Lewis, Lewis, and I agree with some stuff, but other stuff I disagree with when it comes to his part of the private road that you're ready to jump on. I did some research a long time ago. I've been working on this as long as these people here. Here's Corey's memo. I hired an attorney out of Bozeman. Cost me a bunch of money. Here's his memo, because I disagreed with the private road part. And I went into the state. I need to ask you people a question. You can go back to 1962 in the records in the state for fuel use tax. In order to take, according to the state, to accept fuel tax on a road, it has to be designated public/county. Whitehorse Road has been receiving fuel tax since 1962. There was 2 years that it didn't receive it, and I called the state guy and asked him how come. He said because a private road sign showed up at the end of the road, and they don't pay if they see private road or anything else. Once that was gone, they started paying again. So if it was a private road, why did Broadwater County receive these taxes all them years? Also, I asked the commissioners back then, I said, in order for a subdivision to be approved, it has to have public access to that subdivision. And they approved Elkhorn subdivision that I live in. Well, how did they do that if we didn't have access? And I have more stuff here, but I'll be running out because the commissioners previously approved maintaining the road, taking care of the road through a petition, and I've got a copy of the petition. We had to pay for all the culverts ourselves. We all went together because it made it easier to pay for it, because they couldn't maintain the road without culverts in the easement to the road right away. Tim's the only one that didn't pay. We did, the county they said they had to put it in, so they put the culverts in. They hauled in a lift of gravel, they graded it and everything, and said that they wanted us to drive on it through the winter, and then they'd come back and regrade and everything in the summer. The reason why I brought this up, we had an older couple, just a couple doors down. His health was really getting bad, and everybody that lives up there knows how bad it drifts and everything on Whitehorse Road. They were afraid that if he had a problem, the ambulance couldn't get in. But one thing I will say about Tim, the one time we had a bad storm, he did let us use his one driveway. He cut his fence to let us take and go out through that commercial subdivision to get out. But these are the questions I'm wondering, how did this stuff get done if it was private? Because nobody allows that if it's private. It has to be either a county road or a public road. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Brown, would you mind coming up? Thank you. I believe we saw yesterday when I was talking with you that Elkhorn and Arnar subdivisions, that there was an assumption that the roads were county, but no one checked, right, when those subdivisions went through the application process.
That is correct. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director and Planner. Chairman Rickmeyer, yes, to that point, I did check on the what we call the findings of fact and order report for the R&R minor subdivision. It was done, I want to say, in 2005, but it did have a statement in that findings of fact and order report that it was a county road. I can't say for certain that that was fact checked. I did not draft that findings of fact and order report. That was during a time that we were working with a contracted planner. So I cannot verify the validity of that or the process that was taken by the contracted planner at the time, but it did make that statement in there. So when the R&R minor subdivision did go in, which is a 3-lot minor subdivision with access via Whitehorse Road onto a subdivision road, the statement was that it was a county road. With the Elkhorn subdivision being done, I think submitted in 1979, finalized in 1980, there was no documentation. That was of a time period that subdivisions were pretty darn simple to get through. So I could not find any records on that subdivision that would make that same statement. There were records on Elkhorn, but nothing that made that same statement. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Oh, Commissioners, did either of you have a question for Nicole? Okay. I think that because of the just inconsistent documentation, memo use, it doesn't change the fact that we have a moratorium on county roads at this point, and we have nothing that actually official that says it's a county road in history. So I think we're at the same place. It doesn't change where we're at. Is there any other public comment regarding the private road?
I'm John Vandenacre, 51 Whitehorse Road. And
can you spell your last name, please?
I'm sorry.
Can you spell your last name for the record,
V as
please?
Victor, A-N-D-E-N-A-C-R-E.
Thank you.
I've lived on Whitehorse Road for 20-some years, I guess, 27 years, 28 years. I'm former owner of the 25 Whitehorse. However, that Whitehorse Road cuts right through my property. We aren't talking easement. Somebody has an easement up to here. We're talking right straight through my property. So I talked to Nicole about selling the land that's on the other side of the road because we can't use it realistically. And she said, well, you can't do that. You got to go through a minor subdivision. So what is it? So you can't do that. So what does that take? Well, you have to have, is it 5 for a minor subdivision? You got to have 5?
No. Up to 5.
Up to, up to 5. So I don't know, somewhere along that conversation, I understood that we had to do 5. I said, well, let's do 5 then. I said, no, you can't do 5 because you have to do the minor subdivision. You can't go through the process and whatever. So we are stuck in an untenable situation. Tim has helped us a lot. I've had my tractor out there a lot, as everybody can tell you, and we're just trying to be good neighbors at this point. But I can see, especially with the traffic, that comes up there from the public on this private road. I don't see how anybody could call it a private road if you were out there for a day, because it's, the public uses it non-stop. All kinds of different things go up there. And they stay up there, and that some of them, I don't know how many cars there was up there in this last opening hunting season, but it was a bunch, and a camper, and you're not supposed to camp up there, but they do. And so it comes down to kind of a personal affront to me that I am not allowed to sell any of that land. I cannot sell a teaspoonful of ground. I own 285 acres. I don't owe the bank any money on it, but it's not mine. I don't have anything to say about how the land is treated. I can't sell a piece of ground to someone that wants to build a house. I can't sell, I can't do anything with it. Realistically, if it's a private road, I could put gates across the road, I guess. It's my road, it's through my land. If it's a private road, it's my road. So I could put gates there, but they wouldn't last a half hour. People would be running through them. We put electric gates up there at one point because the folks up above the track had a little girl that was, we didn't have a fence made to fence it off at that point. And there was a little girl that was sick part of the time, and they had to get her to the hospital. One time they were caught and they couldn't get through. I said, well, let's fix that. And so we put some electric gates in. They didn't last 2 days, and people just drive through there, you know, and bam, and that's the end of that thing. So
1 minute.
So anyway, I thank you for your time, for listening, and I don't want to rant. I just want to let you know that it's an untenable situation the way it is. Private does not begin to define what that road really is. It's a whole lot more than private. So, thank you.
You okay? You okay?
It's no brain injury.
Yeah, no, I know.
Careful.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Donna.
Sorry, that's a lot. That's hard for him.
It's okay.
Donna Vanden Aker. I belong to that fellow. So we were told at the very beginning this was a private road with public access. That was the designation. My son has gone through all the way back, yes, to 19, whatever it was. It's been designated this, use that. There's 2 subdivisions off of it. Definitely they had to, if it's declared a private road, they are going to have to do new paperwork. We are not allowed like that to sell, although when we sold the front piece, we purchased, if you can look at all the filings, a 60-foot easement all the way from the end of our place all the way to Highway 12. And it's designated as a public access easement, not ours. It's for public use. So that we would never run into this again, that this would be just a private road, though everyone uses it. And I would also like to table it until BLM can, at least you can get a hold of them. You can't get a hold of them now. It's shut down. So what can we ask them for even? He wants to ask them to come, but how do they even come when the government's shut down?
We'll get to that on the next agenda.
Yes, so we can't make a decision, and I don't believe that we need to make a county decision that now reiterates that this is a private road. Yeah, there's private and there's easements all over that thing, but there's also public use. There's no getting around it. You're not going to be able to take that back out. There's just no way. It is a public use road. We were just told that there was a designation that you could do, which is private with public use. That's what we were told from the time we bought the place 27 years ago. That's what it was called. Didn't know there was
you had to go private or public. It was, is there not a designation? Does anyone know? Can't you just leave it at that designation? Anyway, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
May I ask just one question? I'm sorry.
Come on, you have to come on up, John. Be careful. Go slow.
You're just trying to be mean to me, aren't you?
No.
I would like to know if it's a private road, whose road is it? If you have a private driveway, it belongs to you. But if you have a private road with all the neighbors and the 2 subdivisions and Terry and Tim and me and horse trailers, who actually is responsible for the road? I mean, Tim and I were talking about this yesterday. Well, we'd have to break it down into a whole bunch of different sections. Isn't that what we decided? In order to decide who owns what. That's not a good viable option given the traffic that's on this road. So I would like to know who is the owner of a private road. Thank you.
Go slow. There you go. Is there any other public comment? I was going to ask County Attorney Bratcher to weigh in here in a second.
Okay, I'm just Christine Ravndal, Ravndal.
Can you say your first name? I'm sorry.
Christine, Christine. I just have a couple comments. John asked who owns the road. The people at the highway, they own the portion that goes through their property. We own the portion that goes through ours. The gentleman behind us, he owns that, and so forth. When we first moved there, we got an easement with our purchase saying that, yes, that road goes through your property, you own it, but being as it's been used and there are easements up above us, we cannot close it. In regard to Terry's statement about the petition he's got, I also have that petition. And when we got this, when he brought this around to us, it's for grading in the summer and plowing in the winter. And everybody up there on White Horse Road pretty much and in the subdivision, they signed that petition. And then the county responded saying, okay, if we're going to do that, we want the culverts put in. But when they came out and started grading it, the people that lived down by the highway, they called the cops on the county because they were not included in that. And that's where it stopped. Nothing more was further done. They never did come out and grade it. A few people went and put in culverts, but that was the end of the county's involvement. So yes, it is a private road, privately maintained, but we cannot block it because there is other access, and like Tim stated, Chuck Hahn owns property up back there, and we cannot block anybody's access up there. But we just want it known that it is a private road, so in the future, there is not this debate on, well, is it private, is it county? We just want something in writing saying, yeah, it is a private road, privately maintained, but it cannot be blocked off from public use. And then like Tim said, because of the parking lot up at the end, that has changed the use of that road drastically. I took a picture the other day, like John said, there were 9 different vehicles up there, and there's a camper parked up there as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to make a public comment on this?
Can I have one more?
Can you have one more?
What, real quick. Tim Ravndal, thank you, Commissioners. It's just really important to emphasize, I'm in full support of the problem that John Vandenacker and his family is facing on this road. I'm fully aware of that. We've dealt with this for quite a while. the whole issue boils down to the fact that I think everyone goes into a assumption of what is a prescriptive easement, what is a reciprocal easement, what is a right-of-way. And if you go back, and this is where I'd like to just close, White Horse Ranch, created long before the Forest Service, long before a lot of this ever come into about the discussion, had a right-of-way going through all of this property. And I've looked, unless Terry can point out that his research showed that that right-of-way was ever rescinded, that gives precedence to everything. That right-of-way is going clear to the mountain, and it's on private land. And again, I bring up Chuck Hahn. His access is based on that right-of-way. He's not one of these easement holders because he's beyond that. He's predated that. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to John being able to sell his property, which is just barely cut off by the road that was moved to accommodate the people that were on the other side of the tracks and the gates and everything, it was all boiled down to common sense. And let's take care of this the right way. The right-of-way predates and precedes everything that we're all talking about. It's a private right-of-way, and it should be noted, and that is where we're at. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Anyone else? Come back up. It's okay. It's okay.
If the Chair Lewis, when we got the okay from the county to do the culverts and everything, from then on the county would have maintained it, and they're receiving fuel tax money anyway, plus there's a certain portion of everybody's tax that goes towards maintaining roads. If we privately have to take and maintain it, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars over time that it's going to take. I mean, we're already talking over $2,000 in no time at all. There is a reason why it was canceled, but I don't need to bring that up when they agreed to do it. But it wouldn't have cost any of us any more like it's costing us now.
Okay, well, I don't know what the commissioners at that time intended. I don't know if they, and TJ may be able to speak to this more, I don't know if they said, we'll put in the culverts, but you guys maintain. I don't know what was there, but it was never adopted as a county road.
No, not county. The only time that it can be a public or county for the county to maintain it. It don't have to be just county.
Right, and the county also doesn't have, like, there's roads that we don't have to maintain by law because they're county roads, and the county doesn't have to maintain them.
Exactly. Years ago, the eastern part of the state was going bankrupt because of the long driveways, 50, 75-mile long driveways. So they come to the state, and they got a law passed stating, though, even though it's a county road, they don't have to maintain it if it's going to be too costly.
Correct.
But the county did agree. They did put the culverts in. They did come out and haul gravel. They were going to maintain it. Then there was an argument, and Jim Hahn said, we're going to take and cancel us maintaining it. And he says, because you didn't fill it out right. And they're the ones that told me how to do it and when to do it.
It sounds like the argument was because of the landowner saying, we're going to sue you, you can't cross this, this is private ground. That's what the argument was, and why the county said, we're out, we're not going to do this because this isn't decided.
There was a lawsuit.
Exactly.
It didn't go nowhere, but that is the reason why that they decided not to maintain it anymore. Thank you.
Or, yes. Thank you. Thank you. TJ, did you want to, can you talk to, do you know any history on that? I won't put you 100% on the spot if you don't.
Probably predates.
It predates you. Whoa, that's like ancient, right?
You weren't around.
No, right.
TJ Gravely, Public Works Director. This definitely predates me. Not the last part of this fight. I do know some of the history. Mr. Lewis just brought up something that I didn't know about. I didn't know about the lawsuit. I do know that, and we can't even ask these people why, because they've since passed, why they didn't make it a county road. I do know he is correct in the fact that all the culverts were supposed to be in by every landowner, and I do know that that was part of the reason why. I don't know the rest of it. As you alluded to before, there is a moratorium on county roads. I believe it was on October 30th of 2006 that went in.
October 30th, 2006.
Yeah, there will not be any more county roads accepted. To talk about the commission a little bit, as Mr. Lewis said, they do have jurisdiction. They can tell us not to maintain any county roads, or they can tell us what level of maintenance they want. I think that's about all I want to speak to right now, unless you guys have any questions for me.
No, thank you. I'm sorry, do either of you have questions? No.
Okay, thank you.
So hearing from everyone, I thank you for all your thoughts. I appreciate very much everybody coming. I want to reiterate that Corey's memo is there. It says what it says. It stands as is. It doesn't, as County Attorney Bratcher said, we could say, but we could say we declare it a private road, and if someone wanted to, they can say, we're going to take that to court because we do not agree. Here's the history. So ultimately, district court's going to do what district court's going to do. As it is now, all the things that are being discussed, it's private. We know there's a ton of public use. Okay, we know that. Whether we said it's a private road and like we're saying, here's the easements and what the easements all allow for, or whether we say it's a private road dedicated to the public, yes, it becomes kind of just words and splitting hairs. We know that there is a public landowner at the end of the road. That's what our next conversation is going to focus on. I think that's important. But as of right now, the status of the road, again, it's not going to be a county road. Even if we said it's a private road dedicated to the public, private landowners have to maintain the road. Whether it's a private road with easements that allow for that use, the landowners there have to maintain the road. It doesn't change what needs to happen that way for road maintenance, for the issue. Did you either of you have anything else you want to add in there, please? If I'm missing something. Kevin, did you have anything that you wanted to throw in there?
No, just I think Corey's memo, I think, kind of covers everything that, or any questions that could come up. I think ultimately, like I said, I haven't seen anything that would cause me to, for my opinion, to change.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Rickmeyer, can I make a comment?
Please.
TJ Gravely, again, Public Works Director. I think this might go into your next comment a little bit, but what the real thing that we're here for is maintenance of the road, correct?
Correct.
With the BLM owning land, there is an option that they could actually reach out to the BLM. Broadwater County has a MOU with the Copper City Road. Broadwater County owns the first half mile. The BLM maintains that first half mile because it goes into their property. I believe that was roughly 4 or 5 years ago. But they would come in this could be an avenue for the residents. They would come in and maintain that road. And they would put the ditches in, and they would put the gravel on. That was all part of that big Copper City project for the bikes. So, I mean, this is an avenue that they could explore.
You said we maintain the first half mile.
It's county road for the first half mile.
Okay. Are you thinking that the residents, should a road maintenance agreement be formed, which again, we're going to get to in the next, I was trying not to blur everything together, but should a road maintenance agreement be formed, could say, we'll maintain from here to here, BLM, can you do the rest? So it's not on
I
them.
think that would be an option at that point.
Okay, I love
And
it.
what was created, I believe TJ said that was just an MOU with
That
BLM
was just an MOU with the BLM.
not that long ago.
Yep.
Thank you.
And it's worked great.
It is actually, the people that use the Copper City bike area, they don't like it in the wintertime because the county doesn't plow it. The MOU states the BLM will maintain that road.
And you know, as we're, I really want to get to the next agenda
I
item,
understand,
so
and I
you'll
want
get
to
more
make
time.
this quick too. Everybody's getting tired of listening to the thing going around in a circle here. But what I really want to point out is the letters that have gone to the agencies, and I'll just use that, along with the landowners all being aware, this is the first preliminary step. It's just like Mr. Gravely just spoke of an MOU with BLM on the Copper City. You don't jump into that overnight. You have to start a process. You have to move forward with a beginning so you can reach an end. And our whole game plan is to start at the beginning so to get the thing set in motion, and then once we get the thing motion, then we can move forward into perhaps, I won't call it a road improvement district, but we could have a property owners association that would, everyone would have an equal footing and an equal seating at the table to take care of this situation. Thank you.
Correct. Thanks, Tim. Okay, I would love to move on to the next agenda item. Anyone else have comment on this? And it all kind of feeds together. Yep, no? Anyone? Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Again, it was the 1005 item, discussion decision, letter of support from the county for requesting shared maintenance of Whitehorse Road from the Bureau of Land Management. So we've already gotten it well into this. I think before the county can write a letter of support, write anything, which I think we're happy to do, there needs to be a formal road maintenance agreement set up. Because what are we asking BLM for? Can you come and pitch in on this road? It's not a county road. We're not going to take money for it. I don't know who we're, I don't know what we're asking for. I want to support that. We 100% support, as we've discussed, BLM is a landowner. They've increased the use of the road. There's public, a lot of public going up and down that road. You guys have to, and I say you guys, the landowners there have to do the maintenance. So we're happy to support, and I say that without a formal vote, so I'm sorry if I'm pulling you both in some way, shape, or form that has yet to be discussed. But I don't know, I think we need to see a formal agreement set up first. Formal road maintenance agreement, an HOA, and I know that's asking for the stars. But how does BLM support the road? And I think like TJ's saying, they could do an MOU. Who are they doing the MOU with? Are they doing the MOU with Melissa? Are they doing the MOU with Tim? Who is the MOU with? I think it's a fantastic idea, by the way. So who would that be with? They'd have to have an organization or entity to do that with. Commissioners, please.
I 100% agree. I think asking any government agency to pay an individual to do the road, I don't think is going to work. That's out of the question, in my opinion. They might prove me wrong, but I don't think that would happen. So I think some sort of a road maintenance agreement has to be formed prior to reaching out to them so that we know who they're paying.
Or an HOA.
Or
that shows
right.
an official entity
Yep.
that says, we need you, BLM, to do an MOU with this HOA that you're going to maintain this road. I mean, it's worth the ask, but you need something, yeah.
Entity versus person.
Commissioner.
No. However, the maintenance program will work, as we've stated, HOA, some group has to exist. And the BLM has done an amazing job with down south, Copper City. So that would be the best case scenario, that they just take care of it. But again, they got to have somebody, some organization say, yes, please do that. And it worked well, and they were at the table. They were very interested. It was a very easy process. But and if you're hoping to get money from BLM, they're not just going to write a check to an individual. Again, it has to be an organization or a group of people. That's the first step. And I support any of that. And when I say support, we'll write letters saying,
Absolutely.
please help these people that live on White Horse
Absolutely.
Road.
Especially considering the history that we've all discussed very circularly today. Just the complex history on that road is another reason, whether BLM said it's a public road. Well, here's the facts, here's the memo, here's where we're at. These people are paying to have this road maintained. Can you step up? You've obviously increased, BLM being a landowner there and access for the public, it's obviously increased the use of the road. So we, as county officials, are happy to support that, but we need to have it pretty clear, what are we asking them to do? And who is asking? It can't just be one property owner, right? It has to be a formalized group. And Tim, I believe that's what I was trying to talk about that a little bit in our meeting, because having something formal is going to really count, because who are they working with if you're asking for an MOU? So, all right, is there any other public comment, please? And same thing, 5 minutes.
Okay, one more time, and I think I'm on the right subject matter this time, so I don't get backwards. We're asking for a letter of support from Broadwater County, supporting the citizens of Broadwater County to move forward. Again, it goes back to the MOU, if you want to stand on the Copper City example. You have to start at the beginning. And we cannot bring forward, I will say, a property owners association without having all of the parties at the table. This letters that went to all of these people that and on behalf of the citizens, put out to these agencies and these other companies that are using White Horse Road. We always want to try to make sure that we cross the T's and dot the I's before we jump, or let's check and see if there's water before we jump off that bridge. And we're trying to do the analogy of taking the right steps one at a time to do this right, so that we can put this to bed and not have to deal with this anymore. Is it asking for funding from BLM? Certainly. As a participant in anything, we have to get to that point. But before we can do that, we have to get a response. We can't get a response if the government is shut down.
I know you're frustrated, Tim. We got you. We're hearing you. Just keep talking.
Well, I'm not sure if everybody else is understanding where we're at. That's why I'm reiterating.
I know, but you don't have to yell. We got you. We hear you. And I can. What's that?
He's hard of
I know,
hearing.
but I know you're passionate about this, but I understand. And we want to find a solution today. We want to have a direction. So please keep going.
Well, I just need to make sure that as we move forward, we keep in mind that the letter is a support of the people, and that gives us a little bit better standing to go to these agencies and get them to come to the table. Because they can just send back and say, screw you.
If may I?
Yeah,
make a
please.
statement? I believe, having worked with BOR a lot and BLM to a smaller degree, if you form an HOA or a group or something, that's where the power is. They will respond much easier, much faster. First of all, letter from a group, one letter from different groups will support a letter at some point.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. And because their first question is going to be, well, if we find some money, we need to know who to send it to. And if you don't have that set up, it's going to take so much longer. And we've had a lot of face-to-face meetings with BOR, BLM, so letters and then face-to-face work, and they will listen. But it's got to be a cohesive group.
I'm kind of think, I see what you're saying, Tim. You got to start somewhere, and you're saying, hey, we need the county to say, BLM, be involved, be a participant, this is what's happening. I think it would make more sense, at least in my mind, it makes more sense for us to say, BLM, there is a homeowners association for this, the landowners on this road. You are a landowner, you have increased, the historical use. We think you need to step up and help, like as an MOU or a payment, you need to help with this, and maybe have a suggestion, like a solution, like TJ's saying. We propose this, and the HOA, BLM is technically part of this HOA, since they're a landowner. So I think just having something formalized. Otherwise, we're saying, BLM, support this group of people. You need to step up and maintain this road. And I think that's what you're saying, is it doesn't matter if there's an HOA or not, or a road maintenance agreement. We're just saying, hey, you guys need to step up and plow this road or help with this road because you increased the use.
I disagree, because there has to be an agreement between everybody. This all started this round with a meeting that Chris and I called on the road of all the landowners in the area. We gave notice, let's meet. Let's talk about what we can do. Right. That was the first step. This is not just Tim Ravendall having an agenda to move forward on his behalf, on his property. This was on behalf of everybody. Did I get a formal designation of representative of everyone? No, I did not. But I had that meeting called and we discussed it. There was 20-some people that live off of White Horse Road that joined us in front of my place, and we discussed what can we do. And part of the discussion repeatedly came up of having these other agencies come and be part of the system. So that's what triggered us to write the letter and ask them to respond. First step one. Mm-hmm. Will you even respond to our request to talk about this? Because you can't set up an agreement if your parties aren't there. Thank you.
No, I see what you're saying. It's kind of like chicken or egg a little bit on this. My question for the owners that are here, that live along White Horse or access the subdivisions, is if you had a meeting with 20 people there, what is preventing having a meeting to get a homeowners association going?
You can't get everybody to show up. We had a few people show up at the first meeting. We got a few phone numbers, but we probably only have about half of the actual people that live up there and use the road. And one of them we talked to, she was under the assumption that it's a public road. And that was the letter we got back from BLM. They were told that it was a public road.
Christine, thank you. Christine, sorry. I'm just listening to you. Sorry.
Christine Ravendall. They were told that it was a public access road. They weren't told that it's a private road with public access. So I feel that if we could get a declaration from the county saying, yes, this is a private road, but yes, there is public access, then that would cement the status of the road. It wouldn't be in question, is it or is it not a county road? That would put that part to bed. And down the road, if people want to have it declared a public road, let them go through the process. Or if they want to set up an RID to take care of the road, let them go through the process. That was the deal when the petition went through and the county came out there back in 2003, 2004. The county didn't follow their legal procedure to take that over. They were supposed to send certified letters to all the homeowners affected, and they didn't do that. They just took the word of one of the residents that lived up there and saying, well, I'll take care of it. I'll notify everybody. The county let that go off on him. Well, that's not proper procedure. And then when he came to our house telling us that we had to put a culvert in, we said, well, what about the road? Oh, the county owns it. They forgot they owned the road. And, so there was a lot of if there, and so that's basically the first step. If we can get a declaration that it is a private road with public access, then that puts that to bed. And then we can move on. We can get a hold of all the landowners that own part of the road and say, hey, you know, we want these guys to participate. If we put this White Horse Road owners or whatever together, yes, and then if the county could help us with that. But that's, I think, before we do any more letters, or, you know, even if the county wrote and said, yeah, back in 2015 when you came before the county, you were as erroneously informed, you know, that would help, because that's what the letter that we got back from BLM. We were told it's a public access route. They weren't told it's actually a private road.
Thank you. Yeah.
Madam Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Oh, come on up. My question can wait.
A quick question. John Vandenacre, and I would like to know, whatever we call it, private road, public access, and then what would be the definition that would give me the right to sell the property across the road?
No, you have to take your question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't know?
I don't know. I mean, because everything we're saying today, however, again, splitting hairs. It's a private road. The easements allow for public use to a point, but then because the landowner, BLM is a landowner, which goes to support the argument that they should help pay for the road, you have to have public access to that road. But that doesn't deal, and there's no way I can touch the subdivision stuff today, John. I mean, because that doesn't change what is required for subdivision and for access. That's a whole separate issue.
Okay, I was just wondering if there was a way that we could use the wording so that it could be used in the future, and save a whole bunch of steps.
We're kind of limited in the wording right now.
Sorry?
We're limited with our wording right now. I mean, we're kind of limited with what we have right now. Commissioner Randolph, you were going to say something?
Yes. Have any of you, sorry, Jane. Have any of you called BLM and had a conversation with them in the last, 5 years about this situation? And what, if I may, Madam Chair?
Yes,
And
please.
what was their response?
When we first opened this up and we got the letter back from Mr. Haight, I called the office to talk to Mr. Haight, and I asked them to explain where they got their information on this being a public road, public right-of-way. And I was told at that time with that phone call that, again, reiterated what's in the letter from Mr. Haight, and the resulting conversation ended, we'll look into this further, and then never ever heard another word from them. And now I guess this is kind of put to sleep for a few years and nobody's done anything. And I've been maintaining the road for over 15 years and doing the best I can to keep moving forward as a neighbor.
Do you have any comments? Kevin, do you have anything? I'm sorry. Did somebody else? Oh, Jane, I'm sorry. Come on up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Jane Gillette, GILLETTE from House District 77. And I just wanted to thank, of course, the commissioners and the public for the involvement and comments. It's messy and definitely sausage making, but I have confidence that at the end of the day it's going to be delicious and it's going to work out just fine. I have about 3 things that are sort of in my head right now. I definitely, although the White Horse topic is new for me, the interaction between counties and federal land is definitely not new for me. So there is plenty of BLM land that does not have public access, like when we think about corner crossing for hunting and so on and so forth. So we don't always have public land access for the public. So the parking lot and then, of course, the subsequent use of that road is an interesting dynamic that's certainly taxing that population, that community there. I would guess no matter what you try and designate it as, I do see it is probably private with public access at the end of the day, which is definitely being impacted by this use from the BLM land. Counties do receive PILT funding for the purposes. PILT, for those who don't know, is payment in lieu of taxes. That is a structure by which the federal government pays money to the counties for federal land that is in their county for the purposes of not just things like road maintenance like this, but also for emergency services, firefighting, if the sheriff has to show up, but to supplement the cost that the counties experience, that they're not going to be receiving actual tax revenue from that land, but they get a payment instead. So one consideration might be about how you might leverage the PILT money that's already here for maintaining that land. The third one, I just wanted to touch on the HOA, and maybe it's just a matter of calling it something different, like a Horse Creek, Friends of Horse Creek, group or something like that. But an HOA, just with our state laws and so on, you would need like literally every person in that that district, that region, that development that was going to be impacted. You would need them all 100% to sign on and say that they want to be part of the HOA. If you have even one person that's in disagreement with that, then you can't form really that HOA. You can't subject someone to laws that you impose on them, right? Like, so there's that consideration, but maybe instead, maybe not as much and that comes with its own issues like covenants and so on and so forth, and a board, and it can be kind of messy. So I guess I'm wondering, to the point about, what would be the contact organization within this region that the BLM could work with, maybe, and I'm outside of my skill set, maybe it would be a Friends of Horse Creek or something like that, but maybe not a formal HOA. Maybe you could get around it that way, but I would say legal advice would definitely be warranted, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Madam Chair, may I ask?
Yes, please.
Jane, I have a question. I was not following you when you were talking about PILT money. What could be done with that? Or what were you suggesting?
Madam Chair, Commissioner, so Gallatin, or Broadwater County, sorry, I also represent Gallatin, I'm sorry. So Broadwater County already receives PILT money, as you know, right? And so one mechanism might be just to look at your current, and I'm sure you're stretched thin, and I get it, I 100% sympathize. So that money is probably being allocated already in a reasonable way, and there's in my best guess, if I had to guess right now, there's not excess PILT money floating around or anything like that. And so to free up some of that to deal with this issue is probably not a reasonable expectation. But just thinking through all the possibilities in my head, even the unreasonable ones, maybe if there was a little bit of PILT money that Broadwater County was receiving, maybe they could allocate some of it towards this issue on this road. Madam Chair.
Thank you. So it's hard. There's a lot of questions, and obviously this has gone round and round for a very long time. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't like kicking the can. I don't think either of you guys like kicking the can. Nope. In the interest of getting something figured out, because again, it feels very chicken and egg, and somewhat maddening. At some level, because of the complex history of this road and because the county has at times said, oh, it's a county road, or no, it's not, and we've gone back and forth and there's been different uses, I'm wondering, what maybe we can help on our end with BLM communication. And what I'm suggesting, and you guys can please chime in at any point, tell me it's a bad idea, anything. I'm looking at it from facilitating a discussion with BLM and saying, here's our issue with this road. Here's the complex history with the road. Here's the most recent legal standing. There was a mistake at some point between that agency and what they assumed the road was. and I mean, we can all point fingers all day at who did or did not check their details, but maybe just us having a conversation with BLM and figuring out like a way to help the people on the road move forward. Like, hey, we've got a BLM, we've got a contact, let's talk with them. Here's what they might be willing to do. They may have no idea that, you know, I know you've reached out, but they may have no idea that, you know, how much traffic has increased this, that, oh, by the way, it's a private road. So I'm thinking on our end, could we facilitate a conversation with us and BLM about this and kind of get a direction of where to go so we can provide the people there with information, because otherwise I can see this just continuing chicken and egg. And I have no problem reaching out to BLM to see what direction this needs to go. However, it is not just about my decision. So I'm curious what you guys think.
No, I think that's a good idea. Reaching out to them, getting their, maybe they have a method of doing the MOU without having a homeowner association or a different road maintenance agreement in place. Maybe they have some outside the box thinking. So I think reaching out to them, having that meeting is a good idea.
Yes, Tim.
I concur, this is Tim Ravendall, concur with your suggestion to have that. That equates equally to a letter of support of the landowners, having the county step up and bring forward the discussion so that we can come to a conclusion. Thank you.
Yeah. I think having the discussion would, just facilitating a discussion, and we can talk to BLM and just see what the process is, where we need to go with it, address the issues. Terry, you look like you really want to say something. Please come up.
Terry Lewis. Years ago, I was also searching for people to contribute to maintaining White Horse Road. I contacted even Rocky Mountain Elk when they owned it. I contacted the railroad. And even if it's a designated private road and everything, that sign at the end of the road that says private road, there are a bunch of outfits, not a bunch, but some of the outfits will not donate that there. So even if you designate it private road, if you put a sign up, there are places that will not donate.
Thank you. I mean, I believe there's still a lot of onus on the landowners there. At some point, everyone there is going to have to figure out how to work together to figure out the road maintenance. It's going to have to happen well, I mean, it's a no-brainer, but it's going to I mean, there has to be some kind of formal agreement done, because just, hey, drop me some cash probably isn't going to work, and I'm not trying to make light of any previous efforts. However, seems to me that there's a lot of, the county has responsibility and part of the history and the confusion of the road. So I think facilitating a meeting, or just not even facilitating, just having a meeting with BLM, reaching out to them, is a good starting point. Commissioners, please. Anyone else? Just a sec, Tim.
I'm sorry. Just real quick, if you do facilitate a meeting with BLM, you know, I would only request that if it's not me, if it's somebody else, make sure that we're part of that meeting so that we can understand, again, to facilitate moving forward with creating an agreement. We need to make sure that we know where everybody's at the table, and it's just a matter of, again, we're in a way kicking the can down the road a little ways, but because of the government shutdown, we're at a kind of a quagmire there, as well as, you know, the fact that we could be starting tomorrow. I waited until today's meeting to move on a next step with my neighbors, because not knowing for sure where we're going to go with this, and we still really don't know, but at least we went through this process so all the landowners would have an opportunity. Again, BLM isn't here, and none of the other ones, but we're still looking at how can we best move forward. Our initial meeting resulted in, okay, step one, now let's move on.
Thank you. And you know, we got to start somewhere. So let's start. It's on. I like that this is recorded. It's on the record what's been said and discussed today, which I think is important. Again, Commissioner Randolph, please.
I'm in favor of us, the county, writing a letter now that says, we support this. They don't know, BLM's not going to know where to send the money, if they're going to send money or what, but start it. I'd be happy to do that. I hesitate at us getting too involved with BLM. I think maybe we know some BLM people we can call, and this group, if it's organized or not, the residents, then can meet with them. And if we can help set up that meeting, I'm all in favor of that. I hesitate. My stop line is getting too involved in this because it is a private road. These residents need to carry it on themselves. We will. I'm comfortable helping, making some phone calls. We all know some BLM people, so I just got a little hesitant when you said facilitate a meeting.
Yeah, I think facilitate is the wrong word. I think us talking to BLM and getting some specifics on what they can do, where they need to go, and oh, by the way, this is an ongoing issue, and we would
These are the people you need to talk to.
Yes, these are the people you need to talk to, and also this is an ongoing issue, and this road needs maintained because this is what has happened, and we're supportive of that moving forward. Yes, yes. Facilitate a meeting is the wrong word.
We can make some phone calls, give the BLM people some phone numbers, addresses, saying we support these people. Please talk to them, basically, in short, in a very simplified form.
So this, again, nothing is tabled, no can is kicked. Let us start there. And remember, all of our meetings are posted and noticed, and just check the website. You're gonna see it on there. So Flynn Building. And we'll have to make some calls before there's any meeting of any kind, I think.
One last word. On behalf of the citizens of Broadwater County, I want to thank our elected representatives here at the local level for having the discussion about supporting our property rights. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you. Does anyone else have a comment on this, the letter of support, on talking to BLM? I think BLM is the one who we have to start with. I want to make that clear too. I know, like we've talked with Burlington Northern, FWP. Let's focus on BLM right now. Do you guys agree? Just because
100%.
They're the landowner.
Yeah,
they're the users.
I mean, they're the biggest traffic.
Correct. So I think we start there. County Attorney Bratcher, do you have any thoughts or additions?
Nope.
Thank you.
He's like, I want to get back to work.
He's like, please. Okay, Daleen, is there any comments online? No. Okay. All right. With that, thank you everyone for the discussion. Again, I know it's long and circular, but it's good to have it on record, and it's something to go back to. That's important. So thank you for your thoughts, contributions. Director Brown.
Madam Chair, I need to recuse myself from this one.
All right. I'll scooch over for this one.
Let's start with you. If you want to sit closer to each other or stretch your arms out. Whichever your preference is.
Okay. I'm not gonna stretch my arms out. I'm gonna come down here.
Each item is paper.
Yeah, that's okay. This is it. Thank you.
You should do this in 5 minutes. Very confident.
Man, nobody wants to stay for the subdivision? That's so lame. Come on. We should have started with claims and minutes, really.
Right.
Gotten everybody bored right off. All right.
Ready?
Yes.
All right. This is the Logan Minor subdivision final plat request. Excuse me. You have the items for Final approval, the items that I believe have met the conditions of approval. Supplementary items with some of them you don't have because they are electronic documents. Some of them don't necessitate a tangible item, so I'll note that when we go over. Madam Chair, Commissioner Randolph, if I may give kind of a summary of
Please.
each item as opposed to
Please.
reading the
Please.
noxious weed management
Please.
plan, blah, 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 blah.
Thank you.
Thank you, in the interest of time. Condition number 1, no tangible item here. Any and all adopted state and county requirements and standards which apply to this proposed subdivision must be met unless otherwise waived for cause by the governing body. I believe that has been done. Condition 2, DEQ approval. And as you're looking at 2, I'm going to move on to 3 because, again, there's no tangible item here.
I just want to remind everybody too that these are all online. Everything
Yes,
is
ma'am, they
posted,
are.
has
Thank
been
you for that
posted.
reminder. Everything has been posted
Yes.
online by our wonderful Daylene. So, number 3, the electronic files. I can tell you I have all of those stored on my computer. Nothing tangible there. Number 4, a letter from the post office regarding the location of mailboxes. You have a letter from the Townsend postmaster. Condition 5, the fire protection plan. This has been signed and approved by our Broadwater County Rural Fire District Chief, Ed Schindel. If you note on the plan, it states he would like $1,000 per lot. This is a one-lot minor subdivision, so that's $1,000. For the record, I want it to be made clear that the county is not requesting this $1,000 per lot. This is not a county requirement. This is being requested by the Broadwater County Rural Fire District Chief. So that facilitation will occur through the landowner or the representative for the landowner and Fire Chief Schindel. So I do not have $1,000 to show you because it is not being facilitated by the county.
We're making a lot of those things clear.
Very
each
clear.
day. What is and is not.
Number 6, noxious weed management plan. This has been done. It was actually required as an item for element completeness, so it was done quite some time ago, signed and approved by noxious weed coordinator and noxious weed board chair. Number 7, the final plat has been prepared according to survey requirements. This is a very small document that you have in your packet there, but I hope that, and I trust that you have had an opportunity to look at it online to verify that any areas in excess of 25% slope show no build zones. All utilities are shown on the property, and easements, utility easements on and leaving the property are also shown. Number 8, this is the long one that I also hope you're not going to require me to read into the record, as I trust you've had an opportunity to look at these. This is the covenants, the book and page reference to restrictive covenants. The county required that covenants A through H be included, and they are. And I'm not going to read each of those unless you desire me to do so, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Condition 9, the right to farm declaration, which will also be signed, notarized, and filed with the covenants and plat. Condition 10 also pertains to the final plat. Am I going too fast, or are you okay? Okay, thank you. No, I'm sorry. I'm not meaning to rush you. I know that you've all looked at this already, so this is...
It's fine. Keep going.
Okay, perfect. Condition 10 also pertains to the plat, any requirements required by the storm drainage plan, mail delivery facilities, and utilities abutting and available to each lot. That has all been done. Condition 11A, provide proof that the taxes have been paid for the current tax year, which they have been, and the tax bill shows the same. And 11B, proof that the landowner is the lawful owner of the property with the apparent authority to subdivide the same. So you have the platting certificate that has been signed and delivered by the title company. So, Commissioners, I do believe that this developer has met all conditions of approval in order to receive final plat approval, but I am certainly available for questions.
I did not have any questions. I read through everything that was posted. It's pretty straightforward. You and I talked briefly, and I know we've been here for a while. I just want to make note of this because as I'm reading through and looking at the wells, and I was looking at it was an ag covenant. He did not have, there is no agricultural well on the property. So he was using, obviously we'll be using an exempt well. And The process for that is changing. I'm sure you guys are staying on top of that, but I'm going to say it out loud just because there's a lot of interest in wells and DNRC and everything else that's going on right now. Previously, old process, which was anytime before January 1, actually, is still, I think, going under the old process. You'd receive, you're subdividing, you would receive a letter of pre-approval, which there is no guarantee of water rights with that letter of pre-approval from DNRC. So really the buyer of the lot, the builder, whoever, is really, they're taking the chances. They're drilling their well, they may or may not get water. As of January 1st, the new legislation, the developer and subdivider will get a notice of intent from DNRC, a notice of intent, and they will have to have the water right on file prior to the subdivision approval, which is really good. It'll be part of their conditions. I think I'm saying that right, part of their conditions for approval.
Close. Madam Chair, may I
Yes, please.
jump in? So they will be required to provide the notice of intent to appropriate, which does not guarantee the water rights.
Thank you.
That's simply notifying DNRC that, hey, I, Mr. or Mrs. Developer, am doing this 10-lot minor or 10-lot major subdivision. Now you know, and so I need you to provide me with a notice of intent to appropriate, because with 10 acre-feet per project, typically the max number of homes that can comfortably serve is 11. So say it were a 15 or a 20 lot major subdivision, DNRC can say, hey, red flag, we don't think that's going to work. So really what it's doing is protecting developers and subsequently future lot owners and homeowners that right now, if like in this time period that we're in, from October to January 1, if the lots were to sell, say there were a 15 lot subdivision, 11 lots sell, 11 lot owners put in their well, they're fine. It's the 12th lot owner when he goes to drill his well that DNRC says, yeah, no, I'm sorry, we can't give you water rights. You're going to have to figure out something else.
10 acre feet
yes.
allotment.
So this is actually going to be a really good protection for future lot owners. So this notice of intent to appropriate does not guarantee the water right. It's simply keeping DNRC in the loop. But that you were correct in that it will be required as part of the element complete package.
Element complete, that's what I was not saying correctly. Yes, so which I think is good because that protects the county too. Anyway, I just wanted to state that because this is a good time to say it, and with what is changing and with everything that's going on with some of the older subdivisions and how things were done previously, and again, the 10 acre feet allotment and combined use. All right, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for helping clarify that. I'm going to go back to my seat. It's been fun sitting next to you, but I'm going to go back here for a minute. I did not have any questions at all on this.
No.
Is there a motion?
I would move to approve the final plat request for Logan Minor.
I will second that. Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the final plat request for Logan Minor subdivision. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
I do have the
you.
final plats here, but I do not have a special pen. So I know, fully unprepared. So I will put it in your office on your big table for you to sign at your leisure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Welcome back.
Thanks.
What's that? Yes, I seconded it. Correct. So many papers. Okay. Almost done, you guys. Almost done.
No one thing. Oh, Jane. I'm just going to hang with you. All right. The rest of us are leaving.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Great job today, Commissioners.
Thank you for your help, your contribution. Okay, we have a couple minutes. I figure we can do all of these at once, okay? All right, we have minutes from September 3rd, October 22nd, I'm sorry, I said September. I meant
I
October.
was wondering.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
That makes
I-
more sense.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. It says September 3rd. September 3rd? Yeah, okay,
Oh, it
thank
is?
you. Yeah, I
know
looked
we
at that
were-
and
I know
went,
we were looking at some from September recently.
yeah, I just went, that can't be right. No, it is
I'm
from
all mixed
September
up
3rd.
with dates.
Oh my gosh, September
Because
3rd.
Christmas is less than 60 days.
Stop it. Stop it. Oh my
Did you?
gosh. All right, September 3rd, October 22nd, October 27th, these are closed, sealed minutes. And October 27th, open portion. These are separate minutes.
That's all?
Yep, that's it.
I would move to approve the minutes from September 3rd, October 22nd, the closed minutes from October 27th, and the open minutes from October 27th.
I will second that motion.
Lovely. Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve minutes from September 3rd, October 22nd, October 27th closed meeting, and October 27th open meeting. Is there any public comment? No? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Can I go through the claims and then I'll sign everything for you? Is that okay? Lovely. All right, moving on to claims. We have 2 sets of claims today. The first one is for $111, excuse me, wow.
What?
Long meeting, $111,638.73. You knew that's what I was going to say, Debbie.
I would move to approve, a long meeting, the claims in the set amount. It's
I
a little
will-
trick we do
I
when we
will
get
second
tired.
that.
Wow, all right. Well, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $111,638.73. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. On the back. I was just going to do all the claims together like we did last week. I think that's a good way to go.
How many do we have?
But you did.
Just 2.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I know, I was waiting for it.
Debbie made a motion, and so I didn't want to interrupt her motion.
No, I think when it's smaller, we should do them separately.
I don't know, I mean.
That was a pile last week.
It was. All right, the second set of claims is for $4,496.22.
I'd move to approve claims in the amount of $4,496.22.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $4,496.22. Is there any public comment?
No.
Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, are there any other comments or thoughts anyone wants to share? We have a commission meeting next week as normal.
Yep.
But we will not at this time have one on the 12th of November. Is that
Correct.
They also
That will
have
be
you
in
have a
there.
meeting the 30th, right?
Say that again.
For MBAC?
We have a working
Oh, yeah,
meeting.
we have a
working meeting with
We have a
MBAC.
working meeting with MBAC on.
Just in our office.
Thursday, or just in the actually it's on Teams as well, but we do it in the Bill's old office. Yep. But I don't have anything else I
Don't either.
can think of. Okay.
Have a
With that-
safe and happy Halloween.
Yes, we will adjourn. Oh, listen to you. Safe.